Hey Gemini, how are you? Welcome back. I wanted to do a read for you. We're still in Gemini season, so I'm definitely, well, I focus on my whole collective, but like everyone has their season, so it only comes once a year. So happy Gemini season. Let's get into it. So I'm going to do a read for Gemini, and it's going to be a general read, right? But I'm going to use the traditional Rider Waite. If I need to clarify, I'll use this deck. But I want to open it up with, here we go, with the Sacred Destiny. Some for you and some for me. Shamans and other healers use this to bless homes, the Avalon seashell. And if anyone else is a healer, a spiritualist, and if you also bless homes, please know that if you're going into a home, that's something that I found out in my research, because I was incorporating one business into another. But anyway, if you sage, like a Native American home, let's say, or like somebody that has Native American roots, don't use white sage. I guess it's very, very disrespectful. Because of the white sage, it's just disrespectful. So use blue sage or cedar. You can use Nag Champa or Palo Santo. That's just a side note, something that I recently found out, and I don't want to be disrespecting anyone. Especially least of all, or most of all, the founding fathers, which is Native American. That's who found America anyway. And then the white people took America away from the Native Americans. We lied to them. Well, technically not my family. My parents are first generation American, so my dad's side is French Canadian Indian, and my mom's side is Greek Orthodox. So anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get into it, Gemini. I think I was getting on a high horse. You stay humble. I'm humble, I promise. Well, I don't agree with what Americans did back in the day, or the British, taking America from the Indians. They made deals with the Indians, handshakes, and they just lied to them, slaughtered them, and then they wondered why the Native Americans got upset and why, I don't know. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Maybe some of you have Native American roots? I don't know. Let's see, though. For Gemini Spirit, show me, from Sacred Destiny, show me what the overall energy is for Gemini right now. What are we looking at? What's going to open the read? What's their overall energy right now, Spirit? What does Gemini need to know? Wow. Aww. All right, so wow, at the bottom of the deck, you have purity. With the white wolf, with the two color eyes. Wow. That reminds me of Native American a lot. You also have miracles and enlightenment. Oh, let's read from the book, shall we? Let's. So the overall energy is purity. Before the first snow, the earth is dark and cold. Fallen trees from autumn storms lay haphazardly atop the decaying leaves that cover the forest floor. However, when the first snow arrives, the darkness and decomposing soil are replaced by a purity that is light and bright. In the sunshine, the individual snowflakes atop the snowdrift sparkle with crystalline light. Harsh sounds are muffled. Sharp corners and rugged edges are muted. Everything feels fresh and new. Debris seemingly disappears beneath the pristine white landscape. Softly, Softly falling snow illuminates the environment in a diffusion of swirling forms. At night, in the light of the full moon, the first snow is glowing and serenely silent, turning everything into an enchanted fairy tale realm. In some mystical traditions, descending snow symbolizes the transmission of knowledge from a higher plane, the heavens, the lower planes, the earth, thus bringing purity to earth. The sacred landscape wants you to know, no matter what has happened in the past, everything can be fresh and new again. The purity of your soul is shining through everything that you encounter. You are entering into a period of grace. Simply open your heart and know that the best is yet to be. The past does not need you to equal the future. Your future can and will be shimmering, sparkling, and bright. Old limiting patterns are dropping away. Reoccurring challenges are releasing. This is a time of redemption, forgiveness, and holy healing. Oh, Gemini. So this is, wow. What I get off that, it's like a whole, thank you, Spirit. It's a whole entire, if you guys ever get Nagchampa cones, they're all right, but stick to the sticks. You have to keep relighting these, and I don't know why. Anyway, um, you're going through something. You're coming out of something because you went through something, and it's just like you're just letting go of so much. It's like forgiveness is taking over and grace, because when we get to a certain point in our lives, I don't really know if it's age or if it's the amount of shit we go through, right? Like, I'm not sure. Sometimes people will say it happens in your 30s and 40s. Sometimes, but I've seen people in their 30s and 40s that don't have grace, that aren't forgiving, right? I think it just depends on the person. I think that you can still be going through this, and it doesn't matter your age, because once you've reached a certain point of like things that you've gone through, it's just a natural sense of grace. It's a natural sense of releasing and forgiveness, right? We things happen to us that really hurt us to our soul, but we have to heal from it, because we know from the past that if we don't, then that burdens us, right? And sometimes things break us really to the point like you fall so far down, all you can see is the light shining up, and that's when the awakening happens, right? And so it's like you're coming out with fresh eyes, right? It's like two eyes, it's like the inner and the outer. Look at this. Look, a blue and a green eye, right? So it's like the inner and the outer. You're seeing things. And when we release and we shed all that shit, we go back to our natural state, which is pure when we're a child, right? Before like life bogs us down and trauma happens and all these things, right? So that's what's happening. That's what the overall energy is. That's what you're doing. You're learning to just live freely and like not let much bother you, because you know that like worry does nothing for the outcome, and hanging on to things that you can't change does nothing but hurt you, right? Like, it's just how it works, right? So this is really groundbreaking and beautiful to see, Gemini. Um, then we have miracles and enlightenment. And what I get off these both is like, because of this, miracles are going to happen, or they have happened. You're seeing the miracles, and it's almost like you're saying, wow, what are these miracles? Why is this happening? All these good things. And but it's because you've let go of so much stuff, whatever this is for you. And when we let go of stuff, it's like when you are, say this is a boat, say this is the anchor, right? This is the chain. This is the anchor. That holds the boat down, right? But if I cut off the anchor part and only the chain was there, the boat would move. It's like you're cutting dead weight within yourself. And by letting go of all of that, you're lighter, you're freer, right? Like when we're swimming. If you're too heavy, you'll sink. not weight wise, but like, let's say you have a bunch of stuff on and you jump in and it's heavy, right? I don't suggest it, but like it's heavy. But when you take all that stuff off, you become lighter. I know maybe that's not the greatest analogy, but it's like that. And when, it may be like when you're in the boat, anchored in the water, you're only seeing the view, or you're only around the view from where you're anchored to. There's only so much you can, only so far you can go because you're anchored down. But when you cut that anchor, and then the boat starts to move more and is more free, you start to see things that you might call miracles. Like maybe you see a whale or a dolphin or a rainbow or something that you haven't seen before because of where you were. It was like you limiting yourself into this area, right? So that you can't see all these things because of where you are. The sun only hits this way, the mountains over here, just these different things, right? And then you cut the weight off and the boat moves and you see more. So it's like miracles, which then enlightens you, because then you realize you didn't need the anchor. Not really. Sure, if you want to like stop to fish, but then you pull the anchor back up. You don't leave the anchor there. And what happens when you go fishing anyways? Like right, and you like fish in a certain spot, you put the anchor down. If there's no fish, really, after a while, you bring the anchor back up. Well, that's kind of like life, right? Like you stay places, you stay in situations, but it's not to bog you down. It's because that's where you want it to be rooted, right? But then if there's nothing there, if you're not able to feed yourself, or if you're not able to sustain life, you have to cut the dead weight. You have to cut the anchor so that you can move to a new spot. And then it becomes new. And then you find new things to do. And then you find new fish. And maybe you're in a different area of the ocean and you find crabs now and lobsters. And these things seem like miracles, but are they? Or is it more like the enlightenment of being free, right? It's something like that. And oftentimes in life, we feel like we need to be in because of love, because we have emotions for someone, because we have ties to something or a situation, a person, things, right? That we have to keep that anchor there. And no, we don't. Sure, it hurts. Sure, it sucks. Nobody likes it, right? But what I mean is, no, we don't. So we cut the anchor, we pull the anchor up and we move. And that hurts and that sucks because it's not fun, right? Imagine a big long chain with an anchor and you're one person, you're pulling it up and it sucks. It's so much easier to leave it there, right? Let's just say it's super heavy. Let's just say. So, and you're one person. So it's so much trouble to pull it up, and you're crying and you're pain. It's like so much pain. You have blisters and you don't know if you can do it and you're so tired, right? But by the end of it, after you go through all that pain, suffering in, the boat, you bring up the anchor. And then all of a sudden, you feel better because the boat starts to move. Do you see what I mean? It's something like that. And oftentimes people feel, or not, excuse me, oftentimes people will see that we have like overcome so much, or how could this person be so happy? How dare they be happy? How dare they not be hurt? How dare they not be upset? How could they just let me go like that? How could they just let this go like that? But they don't see, how could they just seem so unbothered? But they don't see what you went through to get there, because you did it privately, because you handled your shit, you cried it out, you probably didn't sleep for days, you probably didn't eat, or you ate too much, right? Like that's just what happens sometimes. And you cried alone, you probably hermited yourself for a little while, maybe, right? And then you worked on yourself. You went to work. You didn't just distract yourself with superficial bullshit to fill the void and to fill the time, so much so X amount of time passed and you're still in the same situation. No, not Gemini. Gemini chose to, time's going to pass anyway. Gemini chose to go within themselves and to heal the things that they needed to heal, to take a hard look at themselves. That is strength right there. And anyone who says anything about that, that just speaks about who they are, right? Like, it takes a lot of strength to overcome heartbreak, leaving a situation that just wasn't good for you. People's expectations are not yours. And, we can go the same amount of time, but it's what you do with the time that matters the most. Oftentimes they say, feminines, females, in a breakup, we tend to feel things immediately, right? Like, we feel it immediately and we process it that way, right? We process it in the beginning because we feel it right away and we work through it right away. Whereas males, they don't feel it till later. And usually by the time the masculine or the man, not all cases, I'm just saying psychology shows, by the way that we are biologically built, right? Like, it's like that. By the time, most times men start to feel the pain, women have already come out of it because we went through it in the beginning. While we're working and dealing with the emotions because we're like, what? We're dealing with it because we have all these emotions. A lot of times, men will fill the void in different ways. Instead of dealing with it, they just think it's, not all, and I don't mean all, because the roles could be reversed. I'm just speaking from psychology terms, right? So it's just the difference in how we're wired too, right? So it's like, because we're emotional beings, but there are men out there that are feminine, have a more feminine side. So you might feel the emotions first, right? I guess it just depends, but there's some that, if you're the type of human that feels the emotions first, Gemini, and then you deal with the pain as it goes, and you're heartbroken, but you're working through it because you have to. You don't have a choice. You're not bowing down, and you're not going to have a shitty life. So you have no choice but to push through, but work through it as you push through. Whereas maybe other people who don't feel things right away might fill a void in a different way. Instead of taking a look at all these issues, and they may think that it's funny, and they go off and they just keep dating, and they just keep, trying to, their ego takes control. And by the time the people that don't feel right away do feel, the people that have felt and worked through it are already over it. So it may look like everything just comes so easy to Gemini. No, it doesn't. It's more like you dealt with shit head on and you worked through it because you're a mature person. Sometimes people expect us to fix the mess that they themselves created, and then they play victim. Because gosh forbid you heal, Gemini. Gosh forbid that you not be pining over someone or a situation that didn't serve you. Somebody shows you they don't want you. Okay, cool. I got it. I'm not going to come crawling over to you, and I'm definitely not going to beg you. I'm going to heal from this, and I'm going to make sure it doesn't ever happen again. And then it's like people see the end result and they think that you didn't care. No, that's not true. You're just playing victim. Gemini did care. They cared so much they almost died. They almost broke their own self because their heart was broken so much. And then they took a look inside and they healed some stuff. A lot of stuff stems back to childhood trauma too, which is showing that you healed that as well. Maybe you went through something where somebody was like staring you in the face, so to speak, and maybe there was childhood wounds that you didn't even know that you had repressed. until you was staring at you in the face. And then you address that. And once you addressed what that was, you rewound the trigger back to the root issue. And once that's taken care of, once that is addressed, you're freer. The purity starts to come back. Oftentimes people put themselves in victim mode. Oh, this person never cared. If they're not chasing me, they never cared. If they never loved me. Like, get over yourself, people. Gemini did care. But Gemini loves themselves more than they loved you. And things don't just come easy to Gemini. They have to work at it. And why? And it's like, it's almost like, it's seeming like people get upset that things, because it may look like things come easy for you. And everybody wants to be around your energy and everybody wants you. It's because how you are on the inside is projected out because you've done the work. Nobody wants to be around a miserable person. Nobody wants to be around somebody with ego. Nobody wants to, unless other people have ego too. A person that is healed, evolved, and balanced can see ego a mile away. Just because they don't say it, just because they nod in your face and smile, doesn't mean that they don't see it. So most people will stay away from that, right? So it's not like Gemini's doing, something so extraordinary that no, it's called you healed. You worked on some shit. You worked through it. And then your light came shining through the bullshit, through everything. You still remained pure. And people get upset at that. But Spirit says, fuck them all. Because the miracles, is a rainbow really a miracle? I mean, it is in a sense, right? But when we really think about what a rainbow is, isn't it just like the light coming down, like through the water? It's just the reflection, right? And it's like enlightenment. Yes, it's a miracle, but it's also nature. You see, you're finding the logic to the things that you've went through, and you're understanding it from a higher perspective, and you're like, no, now it's time for me to just live my life the way that I want, because I've lived my life the way others have wanted, and look where it got me. Nothing but heartache and headache, and I'm not doing that. I can't control anyone, and I don't want to, but I definitely don't want to be around anyone that's negative. I definitely don't want to be around anyone that's toxic. I don't want to be around anyone that makes me question my mind. I don't want to be around anyone who is damaged to a point where their ego comes out. People need to get out of victim mode, right, Gemini? Not you. And that's the thing about Gemini. You don't play victim. You deal with your shit head on. I'm talking to evolved Geminis, right? Like everyone watching here is evolved. Unless you're a cross watcher that's not watching it for yourself, in which case maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I'm not sure. But if you're watching tarot, you're evolved. You've come to a point in your life where you're like, enough's enough. Some people don't understand the spiritual aspect of healing. They don't understand that their damaged wounds run really deep. And instead of playing victim, maybe they could take a page out of Gemini's book and shine that light back onto self and then fix what the fuck is wrong. Because you did. And you got your purity. You always had your purity. Now it's just shining through and blinding. Kind of is blinding. Because you're so bright. Miracles and enlightenment. That's what I got for you, Gemini. We can ask the tarot if there's anything that wants to come out. Open up for miracles. Wow. It's confirming what I just said. Five of Wands to the Ace of Cups, which means you, the Ace of Cups is the self-love that we give self, the miracles, because you chose to do the inner work. If you really look at these five people, these Five of Wands, there's only one person fighting. Everyone else is just fighting each other. One person, right? This is an inner conflict. This is showing inner conflict that you overcame. Because you poured the self-love into yourself. That was the miracle too. And once you did that, enlightenment happened. King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So for some of you, you have a King of Cups coming to you. If this is not that, then you are the King of Cups. Mature, balanced in your emotions, someone that feels very, very deeply, but doesn't have to work for or from your emotions. You see things from a higher perspective and from a higher knowing. And just because you understand how people are doesn't mean or make it okay. You're able to temper and control yourself. This is someone with a lot of freaking love because you have a lot of love to give because you gave a lot of love to yourself. Sometimes people don't like that when we take the light and we shine it on ourselves instead of chasing after them, and they just want to play victim mode. Like, why did they didn't care? They couldn't have, if they cared, they wouldn't have done this. I was waiting for this person to call. I was waiting for them to chase me. Well, that was your problem, your expectations. You first thought, your first mistake was thinking that you were better than Gemini. Like, who are you to think that you're so special that you can just hurt Gemini over and over and over again and they have to keep taking you back? That's not the way it works. And this doesn't have to be in love. This can be in work. This can be in friendships. This can be in family. This can be in business. This can be however it is for you, but something caused a transformation and that's what you did. And now you're just like a boat without an anchor. Wow. A boat without an anchor. Enlightenment. You're so light, you're flying in the sky. You're sailing in the sky. Yeah, it's like that. But you see things so much more differently because you're up higher. Not because you're better than anyone, not because you think you're better than anyone, but because you did the inner work. You took you did what it took. You know, oftentimes people think that we're supposed to be their mother, their father. We're supposed that unconditional love means unconditional abuse, taking unconditional abuse. It's not the way it works. We're all meant to be our own, not our own person, but we're all meant to, it's like unconditional love is one thing, but we're not meant to take abuse over and over and over again. We shouldn't have even had to take it once. Everyone's responsible for healing their own trauma. And it's also suffice to say everyone's responsible for knowing their own trauma. You don't dump on someone else. You don't, let time pass by and think that people are going to chase and people are going to do all these things. It's like, someone abandoning you and leaving you for dead and doing all these cruel things, but then mad at you because you chose to say, okay, I get it. That's fucked up. All that shit that you did, that's fucked up. And now I'm going to heal from that, but I'm not letting it happen again. But then it's your fault. It's when, it's like people's mindsets. It doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes it's like the blame just doesn't make sense because it's like, that doesn't even make sense, period. Right. And then, or like, sometimes people fall in love with us really deeply. We fall in love with them really deeply. And let's say someone betrayed us, let's say, right, to the core. And we're just like appalled at the audacity and people think because we love them or because we showed so much care, concern, and we were genuinely loving, right, that's just okay. We can just do that. And then they get mad when we heal from it, right? And then think like, why didn't they chase me? How couldn't have loved me? And why do they get everything, including me? Why am I attracted to that person? It's like the self-pity, and it's like you're attracted to Gemini because they're the shit. Because it's not even because you're the shit. I mean, you are the shit, right? But it's because that light that you have, it's a natural thing for the spirit to want that, to see that in someone else. Everybody wants to be next to a light, but very few have done the inner work that is like a baseline requirement to be next to a light. Why would you want to be around someone or a situation? It doesn't have to be someone. Like this could be, like I said, make it fit, but don't force it, right? Like it can fit in family. It can fit with friends, a friend group. It can fit with work. It can fit with love. However this is for you, right? It's just all too often people play victim mode. And people are selfish and they don't realize how selfish that they are. Like, I don't want to be in love with this person I'm so mad at them for healing, and I don't want to be in love with them, because if I'm in love with them, then I'm going to give them extra time, and I need to have time to be selfish so I can do all these. They don't realize their own damage. They just don't. And we can't do anything about that. We have to have compassion sometimes and not even bring it up, because we have to know enough. If someone's not ready to hear it, we don't want to break their mind before it's time, right? Gemini, whatever you went through, you came out of it and you got your purity back. Not that you lost it, but it's like when you dusted it off, and like the white was there again, like the light, like the white as in the snow, right? And it's beautiful to see. And I say keep going. And whatever this is for you, familyship, situationship, friend circle, friendship, business, something shook you to the core. Oh, look, you have abundance at the bottom now. I just felt, I didn't know why I shuffled. Now I do. And look what's at the bottom of here. You have a soulmate coming in. So whatever this is for you, you have a really good connection coming in. This is someone you're going to feel very at home with. You're going to have a childlike friendship feeling of home and homey. And you're going to be, it's like very innocent love. And you're going to get abundance from that. Now, this could be a friend. And this could be, this is the type of soulmate that it doesn't have to be a lover. It can be a best. Oh, my guinea pig scared me. I heard them and I was like, what was that? Because it sounded close. Anyway, this could be a soulmate, can be a friend, it can be a relative, it can be a partner, but it's the soul tie that you have with someone. This also can be a past life connection coming in, but it is somebody that like has your back and you have theirs, and you eat like someone that you could sit next to and eat ice cream and watch TV and just laugh, right? Like just be yourself with someone you don't have to be on guard with, walk on eggshells with, a true friend, a true team of two. You have someone coming in and you're going to be getting the abundance that you deserve. But Spirit just wants you to kind of stand still right now and just be. Just be. Because when we just be, that's when we see the pleasures that we want, and the purification comes after that. Being in stillness. Some of you might need to get back into a community. Yeah, it's beautiful. They don't want you to take action right now because action's in reverse, which we saw with the stillness and standstill, the fulfillment. They don't want you to be in solitude. Solitude's in reverse. They don't want you to be in solitude. They want you to release. Yeah, it's beautiful. When this tree releases all the old leaves, it has to, so that the new seeds can be there for the next year when they grow. It's a season. Oh, and that's what I got for you, Gemini. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I hope this read made sense to you. 33:13 on the clock. So you got some collecting, collabing, choices. No, not choices. Collecting, collaborating, working together. A lot of stuff going on for you, Gemini. This feels good. You feel very free. You seem very free. There's the white in here, too. A lot of purity right there. This is purity. This also could be a past life connection. So sometimes our soulmates are past life connections. That's why they run so deep. But at the baseline, this is a homie. This is a friendship that is deep as fuck. And that's what's coming in for you. Put it wherever you want. Make it fit, but don't force it. And that's what I got for you, beautiful gems of my eye. Bye, Gemini. Talk to you guys later. Bye.